Can you hear me now?
I can. I'm going to mute you. Thank you.
I finally me.
What?
I finally get to talk. The first two meetings I can't talk, and now I get to talk, and you're going to mute me right away.
Yeah, heck yeah. Your name's Tony Armillo. I'll mute you real quick. All right, Tony, I got to mute you. I got to check on David. David, how's it?
I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Thank you for showing up.
I'm here.
Hey, it's a quick one. This is a real quick one this week.
All right.
I know.
Lance should be joining me here in a minute.
Monday Night Football. I know there's some groups that are starting this week, so we want you guys to get to those meetings if you can.
Sounds good.
All right. All right, I've got everybody unmuted so far, so we'll give it a minute or two. The Albuquerque evaluators are actually going to log in from a remote location. Mr. Alfred's here in the room. Come on in, Alfred. Yeah, come on in, jump in.
Put it on the refrigerator.
Did you send out books yet to us?
No, I can get you your book so right now.
Do you have a copy of the rating 100 times?
What they mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go over that today, and then I'll print one out for you when we're done.
Okay, because I had one. I lost it last year.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
And
treatment. Broncos season lifted his spirits. He went to Super Bowl 50 and was given a Super Bowl ring.
All right, I have a 575-309-7291. Who is that?
That's me.
Sorry, who's the 309 number or the 530 number?
Fabian.
Oh, Fabian. Okay. All right, I'm gonna mute you now. Sorry. All right, let's see.
As they paid tribute to their employee and lifelong fan. We just want to thank everything that you guys do as part of the organization. You guys are appreciated.
All right, let's see. So we are recording now, just so you know. Let's see. Can you guys hold on a second? Can you guys see my Word document?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I know there were some questions about the rating system. As far as, what is a 100, what is a 150? Tony, I hope you don't mind. I kind of butchered this thing and edited it a little bit. But what happened was when Tony got the varsity regional signer down Southwest, we really wanted to kind of match what everybody else in the state was doing. And so I know Tony had a few conversations with the other assigners statewide, and it kind of came up with this because we didn't really have anything in writing, but it was more so that the Southwest officials knew what it meant. Well, as I was going over it today, I kind of changed quite a bit of it just because I think that some of the wording was based just on varsity officiating, where we do have to consider rating for sub-varsity official, and so we kind of changed it. And so if there's typos or grammar mistakes in there, we'll correct them as we go. But let's start with the 100 level official. Okay, as you see in the 100 level, it's showing that vast experience as a varsity official, okay, can crew chief any level of varsity game, can work any level of varsity games, can keep up with the pace of any level of varsity game, proficient knowledge and application of 3-person mechanics. I'm gonna go ahead and change stuff as we go. Mechanics, and I just had a conversation. I just had a conversation with David Osuna that what's funny is that our upper level officials probably aren't very proficient in 2-person mechanics, as it has become a lost art. But I think that's something that we should go ahead and add to our list of things. And Dana's in here, so she can help us kind of make any corrections that are needed to my grammar. So are we good at the? Be careful what you wish for. In fact, I might even give her the keyboard, and because this is kind of a working document for all of us to work on, and maybe this is something we can work on. Do you guys see anything at that 100 level that you might want to add or discuss? You guys are all unmuted, so hold on. David got muted for whatever reason. Okay. David, are you there?
We're here. Hey, Lance is with me here too.
Okay. Hey, Lance, how's it going?
Good, Nate.
Good. Do you guys have any questions about that 100 level?
Just put 3-person and 1-person mechanics.
3-person and
you can do this because
The only question I got, Nate, is the only difference between 100 and 150 is the years of experience?
No, we see your 100 isn't necessarily years of experience. I would say just you watch that official and you know that they apply the rules most of the time. I mean, we all make those mistakes, but you know that they're confident in their rules. You're confident. Where a 150, they're pretty close to being there. They're advanced. They have some big game experience. Maybe they haven't worked a state tournament, but they're on the verge, or maybe they have. Maybe they have worked some postseason. But the big difference is, can crew chief some varsity games? You would put a 150, on your higher level. And like I said, let me just remind you that when we talk levels, higher level, we're talking higher level in competition. It can go from Class A to 6A. Okay, and I know we will sit here and say that a 6A is bigger than a 1A, but we have to be mindful that every game is a big game, and there are just more competitive games that need more attention. if that makes any sense. But the difference between the 100 and the 150 is, can crew chief some varsity games. You know, you want them to be able to crew chief, and you might put them in situations where the game might not be as competitive, or you know that maybe both coaches are both coaches might be easy to work for that night, or they communicate well, whatever the case may be. But that would be the biggest difference.
Okay.
All right. Does that answer that question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's get to the 200s and 250s. Hey, Ralph. Ralph just walked into the room. All right. So we're at the 200, 250. We're looking at intermediate varsity experience, okay? Can U1, and David brought up a good point before we logged on, was, well, U1 is only a number when we toss, you know. There are a lot of crew chiefs that might end up being a U1 that night just because, you know, maybe the varsity official or the assigner wants to just give somebody a shot at being an R, see what, you know. So that wording probably needs to be changed from can you won some levels. So that's something to look at. But in my opinion, it is a 200 level official is not ready to be a crew chief on higher level games. Okay, you might be able to use them as a crew chief on lower level games, but you're not going to put them on those high profile, controversial type situations or games that are going to need extra attention. Same thing, 250. It's a novice varsity official. Now this is where we start talking about sub varsity. These are your experienced sub varsity officials. You know that the sub varsity assigner will use them on all the big sub varsity games, and you're using them on, and they're going to be used on lower level type varsity games. Are there any questions up to that point?
No.
All right. As we get into 300s, okay, all we're doing is working backwards now. Okay, now we're working at looking at a 300 sub-varsity official. They are a sub-varsity official. They're definitely for the sub-varsity assigner. There's somebody that's probably. Hold on, I'm gonna mute you guys because there's some background noise. Okay, there's probably that 300 level is they're working anywhere, anytime as a sub varsity official. They can work they can work some lower level varsity games, and we're talking you're gonna put them with your experienced 100s, 150s if you need them on varsity level games. They can work varsity games. Your 350s, they can work most of varsity games, but they're probably not quite ready for a varsity game. Okay, they're not ready to work that status. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of question about, you know, this 100 level. Okay, in my opinion, they're very few and far between. You know, that is something that, you know, we are going to, with time, have to work on a system or something that tells 200, 250 official, well, what do I have to do to become a 100 official? There is some subjectivity in officiating, and I think when you get to this 100 level, I think you know what a 100 level official is. Hey, Les, I see that you jumped on. I'm assuming that you are with the crew. So, let me go ahead and go back down. 350, newer, less experienced varsity official. Okay, so again, 350s, we will use them on varsity games within our regions. But again, that might be something where you really want to put them on the floor with some experience, and they have room for success. You know, if you put them out there with a 300 and a 250 on a bigger, higher profile game or a harder game, well, we're really setting our 350s up for failure, you know. So this may be something you want to do, to think about when, you know, especially for those assigners that are on right now, when you're looking at those numbers and those ratings. And your 400s are really just brand new first year, second year, you know, and I don't like to use years of experience necessarily, because there probably might be some experienced, when I say 20 years, 15, 10-year officials that might even be in this 400 range, but they want to be there, okay? They're okay with that status, and we can use that 400. If you know of officials that, you know what, I just want to be a sub-varsity official, I don't want to do much more than that, that's all I want to do, well then go ahead, and those are the easy ones. You just mark them at 400 and you can leave them for the entire season. You know, you don't have to really communicate with them on how to move up because they're happy being 400. But if they are a 400 that wants to move up, then we've got to find ways to communicate with them on how to get to that. And the 900, we're going to designate as a first-year official or just a sub-varsity. Same thing. If it's an official that just wants to be a sub-varsity official, we can probably even just leave them as a 900 as well. But really, for the purpose of, you know, 900, I use it as a first year, because especially on the arbiter, when they come in, they're a new official, I just mark them as a 900, and you can go with them from there. They can go nothing but up, right? Hopefully. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute all of you. Hopefully there's no background noise. All right. Any questions? It's an open floor right now. Hold on, Tony. Is that you?
No, yeah, I mean, I'm here, but
Oh, sorry. I hear somebody in the background.
in my background?
Oh, no.
Hey, Nate.
Hey. Who's just said
Hey,
something?
Nate. Fabian.
Oh, hey, Fabian.
Hey, will we be getting copies of this?
Yeah, again, I'm gonna have Dana look over it, make sure all the wording is good, and we kind of put it together on the fly. So
The reason I ask is the group leader in Portales called me and wanted a list of rankings for his officials, and I think if I can give him this, that'd be real helpful for him.
okay. All right, and again, with these ratings, the one thing that we're going to deal with is you know, we all think we're 100s, right? I mean, and that's the honest truth. Somebody's marking on our screen. Awesome. But we've also got to, as evaluators. Hold on a second. I'm gonna mute you guys. Sorry. Hey, Walter, how's it going? I just saw you pop up. Okay, so that's where, as evaluators and as assigners and as NMA staff, we have to really be honest and open with our officials, but we also have to give them feedback that either tells them where to improve or why they are where they're at. And that's going to be our job. That's going to be the difficult part of what we do, because it is going to be hard to tell somebody that they aren't a 100 and maybe possibly they are a 250, or, you know, maybe we have a 250 that we actually see, you know, getting to that 150, 100 level. But we've got to help. The number one goal for us is to is to get everybody from where they are to the next level. And that is our job as evaluators, assigners, and NMAA staff. That is our number one goal. It is really, you know, and again, if we have these that aren't, you know, taking care of business, then yeah, we might need to drop them. Okay. It happens over time. I mean, maybe that official is no longer in position. Maybe that official just doesn't, you know, have the same excitement or enthusiasm about what they do. So yeah, you can easily go from here to a 100 to a 150. But again, it's our job to do that, and that's the most difficult part of our job. Is sometimes we are going to hurt somebody's feelings. But again, through evaluation, hopefully we can support their growth or their decline in growth, or maybe just why they have not moved up. So, so that kind of touches that. I'm going to unmute everybody again. Any comments or questions? All right, go ahead. I got a question in the room.
There is no substitution for experience. We all started, I remember the first couple, 2-3 years, we all thought that we were ready for the 6A boys games, no matter where it was at. The only time and experience is going to get us up to the 150s and the 100s. And the only way that we can move people up or move people down is through these evaluations. You've got to have good documentation to support it. That would include possibly a particular game or particular calls or number of calls, whether they be favorable or maybe they were, I don't want to call them bad calls, but calls that aren't supported.
Marginal
Film.
calls.
Okay.
Right.
And film is going to tell us a lot as to where they're at, besides the fact that we're actually watching them in person. So those two things is documentation, good or bad, and then experience level is going to move them up, hopefully. And as we get older, I'll be the first one to say is that we're not running as fast as we used to be able to. Maybe we're not seeing games as we used to be able to. So that's where we start dropping. But you've got to have that documented support if you're going to drop some of your officials.
Right. All right.
I think, Nate, let me add to what David just said. By doing that, I think that will lead us right into what's it going to take to get to that next level, that next rating higher. You have to do X, Y, Z in order to you have to improve upon X, Y, Z in order to get to that next level. I think that'll lead us right into the definitions of how to get there.
Absolutely.
So,
and I like that. That's a good statement. So any comments on that? Anything
maybe,
from
maybe I'm starting to figure out because I keep fishing the same holes that we can use the arbiter for almost because
all right, so I got a lot of background noise and a lot of communication, so I'm not sure if you guys are asking me a question or
Hey, you're not that old.
all right, so all right. So we got the Central Region group, and we got a little conversation going. So, are there any questions? All right. Okay, so let's just real quick. I just want to talk on post game real quick. The one thing that has been inconsistent, we haven't been consistent with, is how we post game. And one, I will recommend and almost actually ask every single one of you to do after the game, no matter the circumstance. We go in.
Hey, get these people to be quiet.
In fact, this one I caught on a San Juan worm, which is just a little.
All right, I got everybody muted. I lost my train of thought. Oh, post game. We want you guys to go in because this is a growth for our officials. They need to know what they are doing on the court every single game. Okay. If we can have you go in, no matter the circumstance, whatever the case may be, I feel that our officials deserve to have somebody go into the post game and give them something. Remember, I know Dana is really big on 2-to-1. You know, give them some positive reinforcement with every negative, but with each negative, there can be a positive. So if you tell Nate Acosta that he was consistently out of position, well, maybe there's something that Nate Acosta doesn't know, and he's out of position for a reason. Maybe ask the question, hey, I saw at this time, and this time in the game, you were working really high at C. Why was that? And then give them the opportunity. Maybe they say, well, because the offense, that's what the offense and defense were giving me. For whatever, and maybe they actually answer the question for you. I know that a good way to start a post-game evaluation with your officials is ask them, ask them for their comments. I guarantee you the official will throw themselves under the bus. The official will tell you exactly what they were missing and why they were missing it. And almost every single time it's going to match what you have on paper, And so then you can go into discussion on how they can fix that. Okay, now we can go into discussion on ways to improve on the lack of whatever the case may be. But if we go in and tell an official without asking them, this is what you did wrong. Well, again, maybe they don't know that that's wrong, or they don't know what the right way is, So questions are always good starters. I know that many of you have evaluated me, and I know that when you started it off with a question, it was, because I've already kind of formulated, and our officials do this, we formulate an answer for you because we know that you're already going to ask us about certain plays. So then as the official, I'm going to go in and I've already, before the game's even over, and I don't want to worry about that. I shouldn't have to worry about that. As an official, we shouldn't have to worry about that during the game. We shouldn't have to worry about what you guys are going to tell us after the game. We should just go referee, and what happens, happens. But I know that play by play, if I just ask the question, if you just ask me the question, I'll tell you what I did wrong 90% of the time, And of course, there's going to be little things that, you can add in there, little tidbits, and it's all mechanical, I'm sure. But again, the main focus is, can our officials manage games? Is their play call accuracy good? Okay. And are they communicating well? Okay. Those are the three most important things. Now, yes, we want them to look sharp. We want their mechanics to be sharp. But again, at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we have officials that know their rules, are managing them, and are communicating with their partners, the players, and the coaches. So let me go ahead and unmute you guys, and then any questions?
These are real wild fish. I mean, they're going to snap your line.
Oh, I got to laugh because somebody's working on fishing. So real quick, just type in the chat box if you have a question, and I'll unmute you individually. Any questions?
I did it up till when it got to 7-7. I was like, man, I can't watch no more.
Anything? Going once, going twice. How about this? Let me go and just go around the room. Fabian, you have any questions?
No, I'm kind of like you. A lot of times I think the official knows when you ask him that question on the evaluation, he kind of already has an idea. So, yeah, not really, nothing.
Okay. Cliff, you have anything?
No questions for me.
All right. Let me go and mute you. David, Lance, you guys have any questions?
All good here.
Okay.
Hey,
Les Williams and company, you guys have anything?
to make adjustments if he thinks they should.
Les, do you guys have any questions?
I can tell them that. We go out and evaluate. Most of our guys know us. We walk into a gym and it's all left.
All right. T-Mac, you got anything?
Everything's clear as mud, brother.
Man, you sound like you're on the moon. It's awesome.
Well, I don't want to waste all my money on my cell phone, so I'm on my house line.
Oh, okay, there you go. Sounds
No,
good.
it sounds good. I think it's good to just reiterate that our job is to make them better. It's not to hammer them. They need to look at least as an evaluator, as a friend, as a help, and not as a negative. And so as long as I think the officials understand what our job is, it's not to bang them, it's to help them, I think everything will be fine.
That's awesome. I love that statement. Thank you for making that statement. That's exactly what we're here for, and we've got to keep that in mind when evaluating. It's to help the official, not to bang them. So good job. Thanks, T-Mac. Mr. Armio, you got anything?
I don't have any questions, but do you want me to make some comments in regards to how you and I came up with this rating system?
Sure.
So when Nate and I came up with this rating system last year, I did show this to all my officials in all three of my areas that I had, and we had a discussion about what each level was. And probably one of the biggest questions I got, either on an individual basis, and there actually were some questions in the meetings, was a lot of people think that they're 100s when they're not. And when Nate and I kind of came up with this system, we kind of figured, to be a 100, you got to be a really, really good official. You got to be top of the class. In my area, I really consider I only have 3 100s. I've got lots of 150s. I've probably got close to 17 or 18 150s. Very experienced officials, people that have like even way more experience than even my few 100s. But they just can't get up and down the court anymore. Or I've got some younger officials that are up and comers that just don't have the experience quite yet. They can work 3-man, they can play call, but they just don't have the experience of crew chiefing, and that's what they need to maybe move up to that 100. So that's something I think I'm hoping around the state that we'll all be a little bit more consistent on. And then the other thing in regards to this rating system is I don't just do the ratings by myself as the assigner. Okay, last year I got all my evaluators together and I initiated it, and we went through every official and we adjusted it we talked about each official, and if I needed to adjust it up or down, that's what we did. We're planning on doing that 3 times this year. We'll do it at the preseason, we'll do it at the midseason, and of course we'll do it at the end of the season. And again, that's not just my opinion. That's me and all my evaluators, so that way a rating, I don't have officials pointing at me thinking that their rating is all my decision. It comes to the same thing when it's selecting for the state tournaments. It's not my decision. It's me and my evaluators. We all collectively have a system, and we decide who gets to go to the state tournament with the number that we're given. So just wanted to make those comments.
All right. Thanks, Tony. Walter, you have anything?
I don't. I'm good to go.
All right. Excellent. So anybody in the room have a comment? No? All right. Short meeting today. I know that there's some Monday night meeting going on. There are some Monday night meetings going on, so I know you guys want to get to that. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. We will actually next week, if you guys can, again on the 7th. Okay, it's a Tuesday, and the reason for that is we've got some stuff going on Mondays. It's the first training and curriculum meeting as well, so I kind of want to field any calls or questions regarding that, and so we're going to leave that date open. But if you guys have any questions up until that point, again, as evaluators, give me your information. I know some of you have emailed me your information. If you do have a headshot, that'd be great. I plan on putting together something not only for our officials, but even our athletic directors and possibly coaches. So might be good. So, all right. If there aren't any questions, I will go ahead and log out. I thank you guys again for coming, and let me know if you need anything. So next Tuesday, the 7th. Thank you.